So we finished the 7th Can You Take It Festival.
Yes.
Number 7.
Star Wars.
Number 6, Star Wars.
Yep. Long one.
Long.
Yeah.
Longest. Was it the longest?
Yeah, that's the longest we've ever done. Return of the Jedi.
A favorite?
What does it do wrong?
No, we're supposed to do the good. No, we gotta do the bad
Oh,
part.
the bad stuff. Okay. Well, number 1, the most offensive thing of all.
Yeah, the ending is
Final shot.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's really unacceptable.
The fact that it's the end of the movie and the drop of that hell of a bomb on it.
Right.
There's like a
It was a bomb.
multitude. It's Vader's yell.
Bomb.
The whole new ending little music
Yeah.
finale and showing all these places that haven't been featured at all unless you saw the prequels.
Well, there's this thing
People are like,
we've been
what the fuck
making
is-
a joke about the entire day, and Brandon brings up a quote from Mr. Lucas when he says during the behind the scenes about making the prequels, he refers to them as poetry and that they rhyme, meaning that things mimic each of the later trilogy. And I think that was his thought behind adding in no at the end of Return of the Jedi when you hear no at the end of Revenge of the Sith, as well as having Hayden Christensen,
Who Luke would not recognize.
who Luke
Right.
would not recognize at all, which makes no logical sense, as that is no one else. If you could pick the form you appear in your spirit life, Yoda wouldn't be crippled up there on the
And
wall.
Obi-Wan wouldn't be
Yeah,
old
you
either.
would have
And
Yoda.
Obi-Wan-
Why didn't you bring Ewan McGregor in?
No,
Just
no,
do
no.
the same thing.
It doesn't make a lick of sense.
No,
No, I'm not saying to do it. I mean, but based off what they did.
Based off the logic,
You
You'd have
no
become-
logic was
you
used.
become-
Well, okay, I
You
will.
become a
Yoda would have a
force being
fro,
when
and
you're
you'd have Ewan McGregor.
Yoda would have a fro.
Yeah, that to me is like that. You know, we made it through the prequels. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're on to the good stuff. 1, 2, 3. Oh, god damn it! Now I have to remember the prequels again.
Yeah,
It's like he's just crapping on you for no reason.
He's trolling.
just to make-
Musical numbers.
He's a troll. He's a troll. He's trolling us.
Both musical numbers.
And you know what's funny? I think more so even now with this one versus we talk about how like Empire just for whatever reason didn't get touched as much. You know, kind of got lucky, and then you there's a few things that
I bet
changed.
Irvin Kershner
But
threatened
the
his life.
third one, you saw multiple iterations of things getting changed. I mean, that dance number, that was just like, I mean, it could not be more different. It took
The
you
opening
like,
Jabba's palace dance number
Oh, yeah.
is so bad. It looks so bad. I don't think George Lucas has real eyeballs anymore. I think he sees through some sort of RoboCop visor because it looks so horrible. If this was projected on the screen for the audience and I'm a filmmaker, I would say, this is unacceptable. It looks horrible. No, pass, stamp of approval.
But the irony about all this is we can bitch about it and criticize, but we wouldn't have any of it without him.
oh,
Yeah, but
And
quite
then
the
he comes-
irony is also that he has gone to court and lobbied against changing films.
No, it makes no sense. You couldn't make it up.
No,
Dude's an asshole.
he is pure and simple.
No way to look around it. This dude's an asshole.
Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say the print of this movie was
Oh,
not
yeah.
very good either.
No.
Just makes Empire that much better.
Yeah, it was like
A lot of issues.
Empire got special treatment.
sometimes we're like, is that shot in focus? Like it looks out of focus right
Yeah,
now.
it did. It looked bad. Some skin tones were off, similar to the way they were in A New Hope.
Black levels, all kinds of stuff. We're not even.
I feel like maybe overseas, like maybe in Europe or somewhere, they did like some really nice transfer of Empire, but not the other ones. And then when they put these Blu-rays out, they just got that transfer, but they didn't fix the other two.
Well, some of it looked great. Like remember how when Vader first came off the shuttle at the beginning,
Yeah, that
it
was good.
blacked up.
It'd be one thing if it was the same level of bad, but it was like really good, and then it was
Yeah, it was all
shit.
over.
Yeah, it was
It
cut
was
from
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi is definitely a debated one. Dustin says it's his favorite one. Upon watching it, there's things I like about it. After watching all of these in one day, it's got some slow parts, for sure.
It's always been I think what I've realized though is, especially watching them today, I mean, by no means, if it's like we were kind of talking about like favorite movies, what's your favorite movie versus what you think is a great movie everyone would like. There's no way I would expect anyone to like Return of the Jedi or think it's better than Empire. There's like no way.
Right.
Because even though there's moments in this one that I love, there's plenty of moments that's just like it's like you said, you're just waiting to get to a certain phase.
The ending.
Yeah.
And the whole rehash of the Death Star is kind of.
If they bring another Death Star.
The Emperor is great. I will say this: the Emperor is great. All of that was great.
Yeah, he talked shit.
Jabba, I would say
30 minutes.
most of the Jabba stuff
great.
was
Jabba's
great.
Palace is cool. Neum Nub is cool.
And you know, Adam made a good point today, and I don't feel like it takes away from how I like the character. But Boba does go out kind of like a bitch.
Oh, Boba Fett goes out weak.
Like really, especially for like how people came off of Empire
was
about
fighting
him. Like,
Luke.
That's a weak
It's a
point
big-
that
that's a
the
pass,
original had.
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even love the whole Jabba stuff in the beginning. I like the idea of it, but it feels used incorrectly in a way. I don't know. It's like you want to see Jabba's palace, and when you see Jabba's palace, it is very cool,
Right.
and you get to see all the different creatures and stuff. But it seems irrelevant in a way,
Oh,
other than get a Han back.
I find the entire movie irrelevant until the Vader meet up. The whole thing's irrelevant.
Yeah, but to me, it's like the Jabba stuff, and then the beginning of the Ewok stuff is you could cut it out, and now it's pretty close to the same runtime as
Right.
New Hope and Empire, really.
Yeah.
the ending though, oh God, and this is why it's something to just think about when someone goes in and changes these things. That anyone who's seen this, I did not realize how much I love the ending. The final confrontation between when Luke is on the ground getting fried, and you always see that nod, that that you could see that conflict in Vader, and I love the moment. But as soon as he added in that no, when I saw it for the first time, my jaw dropped. I'm like, no, there's no way. Because
Justin said no.
yeah, literally. Because and we talked about this. It's like more than any change he's made, whether you're talking about the Han shoots first or whatever. That is the saddest example where he just has this inability to think that people can't figure out and fill in the gaps. Like, you don't have
These
to
aren't
have
difficult
someone.
movies to follow.
It's like he brings in an audience of 4-year-olds and shows them the movie and has them tell him
My
what they didn't
grandson
get.
couldn't understand why you threw him in the hole.
When you see this, it
God.
brings into question his whole filmography.
Yes.
Oh God! I've always said
Everything that he ever made before this, you have to question, and then you look at everything he made after.
He
it was
stole it
complete
from
garbage.
somebody. He had to steal the whole thing.
Yeah, he stole everything.
Well, I think George Lucas is a really good idea man, and I think he's really good at forward thinking. I do not think he's a good director. He is not a good filmmaker.
I don't even know if he's a really good idea guy or if he has childlike ideas, and then he has people like Spielberg around him,
Good team,
Lawrence
yeah.
Kasdan around him. That's like, I would like to do a movie like that too. Let me help you make that a good movie.
I think so, but from what I understand, they were his ideas to like push this technology. Like he really wanted nonlinear editing. He really wanted digital.
Oh, technology-wise. Oh,
you
well,
know.
technology-wise, I can see
I think
that. I
the
mean, like
biggest-
stories. Like
I
story-wise.
mean, his movies before are generally liked. American Graffiti.
I like
is
American Graffiti.
Really like, and THX 1138 is
Hey,
considered pretty
That's the cell block number.
innovative. Yeah, that is the cell phone.
Because didn't Red Wings didn't it bomb too?
Yeah, Red Tails.
Red Tails, yeah.
That
Yeah.
sucked a butt.
Now, yeah, things started going downhill later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't you say that like when I don't know if it was Revenge of the Sith, but at some point along the line, I had heard at the time that he went to Spielberg asking him to possibly direct.
He asked him to
And
direct Return of the Jedi.
kind of like flipped on him, saying, "No, you need to stay in the director's chair. You
Pretty
need
sure
to
that's what
direct."
happened on Episode 1, but it also
Yeah.
happened on Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And he couldn't because Steven Spielberg was in the Directors Guild, and George Lucas refuses to work with the Directors Guild, so he has to hire someone who's not in the guild.
Really?
Basically, when he put Star Wars out, he got in a shit ton of trouble for not putting credits at the beginning of the film. He didn't put the people's names. So, when he put out Empire Strikes Back, he was going to have to pay all this money again, so he left the guild. He's like, I'm not going to be in the Directors Guild anymore then, and I'm going to just make this. And so he had to hire people outside of the guild. And the guy who did Return of the Jedi was not a guild member.
Wow.
And I think the film, you still look at it and you say the best two movies we watched today were not directed by George Lucas. I think the first Star Wars movie is a great movie, but it's
Let me ask you
not the
this.
best one.
Based off everything we saw today, prequels, what we grew up with, how those things got altered, good or bad, and then obviously while we're doing this, what's coming right around the corner. Where do you feel as far as both growing up versus now in terms of like any kind of legacy to do with Star Wars? Like how do you feel about Star Wars as a whole now versus when you were a kid or anything like this?
Oh, it is damaged goods.
Yeah, that's a good description. I mean,
That's what it
goods.
is.
It is goods. I mean, the prequels should have been. They had no excuse to be bad.
They're not just bad; they're abominable. They're horrible.
And this
Since
was
the prequels, we've had like so much like commercialized stuff, like MMO games,
Yeah.
console games, computer games, toys, every theme park crap you could imagine.
It's about to get turned up even
Yeah.
more.
It's turned up
Right.
even more.
But
So
hopefully
if
for
they don't
the
get
right
some-
reasons, at least.
Well,
It's
we
the
have
right
new hope
reasons.
going forward.
Yeah, what are the right reasons,
Well, we'll
Dustin?
see.
Well, it's more like I'm hoping that because of how bad, what I've been saying, how bad the prequels were, I hope that they truly are trying to not only stay completely distanced from that, but trying to bring back what people felt like. Because I do remember, even before, the special editions and everything, the level at which we probably all, if you're a fan at all, looked at those first three movies at that time.
Oh,
And it was a
untouchable,
slow,
perfect films.
for me, it was an extremely slow erosion. And I think sitting on it today, it's solidified as to like how much it had fallen. So I'm like, I can't overhype it for myself, but I'm almost like seeing these today and thankful for how bad the prequels are because
Well,
at least they're going to be better than
I've
that.
kind of described it as the whole idea of a trilogy, in that the first part of a trilogy is telling the story and getting you into it. The second part of the story is very dark, and it's the hardest time for our characters. And the third part of the trilogy is where you resolve the story and the characters, complete their goal. So we have the original trilogy. It's a good time. Then the prequels, that's the second part of this. It's the dark part. It's the hard part for the fans.
Yeah.
And then the third part is coming.
It's like a redemption.
And this is the
mostly.
redemption.
Well,
Yeah.
I was thinking of a parallel like that is you can think of it as what if George wanted to do 7, 8, 9 first instead of the prequels,
Yeah.
and he touched that.
Yes.
Oh.
So I think him doing the prequels and you're working towards a known storyline.
Might have been better because he didn't ruin characters we already loved.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he
That's
fucked
true.
up
That is
mostly
true.
new
He just
stuff.
messed Darth Vader up.
Yeah, he messed a few things up, but all that's irrelevant. And now
Right.
someone's like, "Oh, let's not do this again."
Right.
So we have hope that it could be good, but
Well, we can infinitely move forward now
Right.
without Lucas, where he was
Right.
limited to only 3.
right,
That is a really good way to put it. I mean, they still suck and I hate them.
right, but we wouldn't maybe have the
I never really
upcoming good
dreamt
ones.
of 7, 8,
Right.
9. That was
Right.
never
Yeah,
in
me
my
too.
mind.
I was-
Because when I put that tape in, it says episode 4.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, we got 1, 2, and 3. What went on there? And basically what went on there is they manufactured a lot of toys and cups from Taco Bell, and they sold them to me.
Boss Mask.
Did I tell y'all that I found my original
Funding
Pepsi, the Coke cans that all had?
You collected all that?
Oh, I still have them.
I hope
found
you
them.
smashed them.
I know. Some of them were turned into candles for
Would-
some reason. I don't remember doing
Would
that.
anyone
He's
watch
doing
the,
seances.
Please, Mr. Lucas.
Would
make it
anyone
good.
watch the prequel films again?
I don't think
after
I need
today.
to.
I don't think
No,
it's
no,
necessary.
Once, maybe once maybe a decade or something.
This was the appropriate time for me to watch it because you watch it straight through, and now you're ready for
Yeah,
the next.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's kind of why I wanted to do this, with this going to be a big year for Star Wars. We wanted to come in and watch all these films and go in fresh for when the new one comes out. And I don't know that I'm that I'm like more excited after today or not.
I'm in the
I think
middle.
I am more excited.
Yeah.
But it still kind of brings up my big issue with these new films in general is like, I wish we were using that energy to create the next Star Wars. You
Something
know,
new.
it's like, I think Marvel is one of the new things that the younger generation has. But it's like, we had Indiana Jones, we had Star Wars, we had Back to the Future. We had a lot of kind of big things for us.
Right.
And maybe we had Jurassic Park as well. Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But now it's like, what are we creating now? And it's like, well, we're redoing.
They're not creating anything for these kids. They're just creating new stuff to appeal to us.
Yeah.
It's all nostalgia.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
kind of thankful in that way. I mean, you could go about that the wrong way too. I mean, I will say that
You could make a Transformers movie and it could be bad. It could be.
Yeah, you made a good
A
point
Teenage
today
Mutant
that I've been
Turtles reboot might be bad.
It might not turn out
It
good.
might not be as good.
I've been thinking about myself because
Thankfully no one's
when I
trying.
heard that they announced the new movies and they were going to follow up from Return of the Jedi, well, it's safe to say you're going to have at least 3 of, a few of the characters, Han, Leia, Luke. And
Salacious Crumb.
I remember thinking like, I don't mind them doing this. And they don't have to be
Oh, they got
the
your
main
permission?
Do
character.
we need to send this to Kathleen Kennedy? Let her know that you don't mind what she
I'm just saying that, like, what you said today about, as much as I want them to not be like the Expendables, where you just show up for a few scenes and then leave real quick. I want to have do them justice for being in the movie, be a part of the story. But you were commenting about how like everything needed to be connected back to what happened 30 years prior in Return of the Jedi or
Right.
whatever. I don't
New
want
thing.
that. Could be a very bad mistake. It
Yes.
needs to be its own thing. In
One of
spite
the
having
New set of problems.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the things I think people get confused about is that what we love so much about Star Wars is Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and it's not necessarily true. What we love about Star Wars is the universe, the world, the creatures, the adventure. So you don't have to bring all those things back to get me in.
Yeah.
Chewbacca doesn't have to know Yoda
Yeah.
to make me happy. There can
At
be new
all.
characters.
That's
There
right.
can be new things to be excited about. And here's my theory. JJ, he knows what happened with those prequels. And he knows that if he messes this up, it ain't good.
He's gonna be reviled.
He will be reviled forever. So I think he wouldn't have stepped in if he didn't think this is something that's going to turn out really good. And from what we've seen, it looks really good. It looks really exciting.
What's one thing that's interesting, and I don't buy into this. I mean, yeah, sure, Lucas I guess he had a sort of a template for at least the trilogy, the original trilogy, as to where he wanted to kind of go. And from what I'm reading online, without
Obviously
spoiling
not.
anything, they say that they have a template for these next 3 movies.
Oh, yeah, they're already
Even though
working
they're
on
gonna
the second
change. They want to. They said they had one director like working on, I think 8, maybe 7 at the time. And they had their idea of what they wanted, but they literally wanted him to write his own ideas and just see something would come out of that. And
During the shooting of 7, they're on set writing 8. I mean, 8 starts shooting like soon because this one comes out in December. Then you have 2016. The next one comes out May 2017.
And
So, a year and a half.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. I know that we can hop on the idea of what Disney is, good and bad things that even Marvel's been doing. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that every movie they've done has been well, but it's to pump out films in that way and not only be successful, but people to mostly walk away feeling like, hey, these were good films. That I never thought I would be happy knowing Star Wars is
In their
not
hands.
in his hands, but is in their hands. Like, I'm like, okay, I can see with Guardians, with Winter Soldier, with some of the other things they're doing, that if it's at least as good as those, it will be 1,000 times better than what we just watched out of the prequels.
Yeah. And I think Disney's smartest move is they're hiring talented people.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference,
That's why I meant earlier about saying that if you are, and the inevitable, if they're going to franchise, theme parks, all those things, I want it to be done, but for like reasons that are like, yeah, this movie was great. I want to go see a real Millennium Falcon right in front of me. At
Yeah, like
theme
no
park.
one seems to be offended by the Harry Potter
Right.
amusement park because everyone seems to like those
Right.
films.
Right.
So I guess I see what you're saying there. Like even though they are after making money, if the movies are good, people are okay with giving them their money.
Like you'd be offended at this point if they went and did Star Wars like a theme park, and then let's put a bunch of prequel stuff
Welcome to
everywhere.
Naboo.
Yeah.
Well, let's ride those little dorky looking things out in the field from Naboo.
And that'll be-
Disney knows how to not ruin things with marketing. It's kind of like do your thing. and
They've-
we'll
yeah, they've got a
market around
formula.
The movie and make
Yeah.
it that way.
Well, as we get closer and closer, these will, this one's probably coming out, knowing how quickly I edit them.
The movie's coming out next week.
This one's coming out around
November.
episode 8. But we are hopefully all going to be able to go to a midnight showing and do a video, after that. Just hopefully there's like tears coming out of my eyes. And
That's what I
so
want.
excited.
I want to be that pleased.
Yeah, I want to be that excited.
We'll see.
But I don't want to go there right now.
And I feel like, in spite of hearing us bitch about the prequels, especially, I think most people, if they have the time, even if you don't do it like we did it, take the time to watch all 6 movies before the new one comes out.
Sure, and but we hope you enjoyed the videos. It's been not really a hard festival.
No.
It's kind of a long day, kind of tiring, but overall, been pretty easy. A lot of laughs. We had a good time, and
Our girlfriends and wives are wondering where we are.
Yes.
yeah.
They don't quite get it.
Oh, I mean, they're not wondering. They're well aware of where we are, and what they're wondering is why we're here.
While we're doing this.
Mine's sitting down the driveway waiting.
Is she really? Is Lindsay outside? Lindsay's in the driveway?
Bring her
Just
in.
got here a minute ago. I said
Oh.
wait till the interview's done.
She's been. Well, on that note, we'll let Lindsay come in, and we hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next festival. Hopefully, we'll have a video for the Star Wars premiere.
Yeah.